Good morning, everyone. It is Saturday, March 23rd at 5 a.m. Here we are, 1 hour to go until the Australian Grand Prix qualifying. Let me know if I sound all right. If you can see me, hear me, that would be greatly appreciated. But here we go. This is what we missed overnight. We've got some FP3 results right here. Charles Leclerc topping the charts for Verstappen, Sainz, Hamilton, Russell, Alonso, Perez, Piastri, Stroll, Norris, Sonoda. Yeah, not doesn't seem like there was a lot of drama. Lots of kind of just Albon didn't crash his car with Logan's car, so that's a good job there by Alex, who apparently it's his birthday. So happy birthday to him. Hopefully he does not smash up another Williams. But yeah, FP3, nothing too crazy there. But how are everyone's teams looking? Let me know in the comments. Say hi. That would be awesome as well. Whew, it's a little bit early. Got my Red Bull here to get me a caffeine kick through the next hour. But yeah, yesterday was pretty crazy in F1 Fantasy as we had Alex crash his car, had to get Logan's car. That was a whole thing. And yeah, let's go look at. So here's my second team. So this is what your team will look like if you have Logan Sargent here. As you can see, he is inactive this weekend. Our poor American got his car stolen. So yeah, it's no points will be scored for Logan Sargent this weekend. If you keep him in your lineup, you will have a 0. So it's a little bad luck there. I would just get him out. Just yeah, as long as you have the free transfers. If not, you could activate your wild card. Not sure if you're ready to do that this early in the season. I did wake up this morning with a strange inclination to play my no negative chip this week. This is my third team down here, so I've already locked this in for the week. So Sergio, Nico, Lance Stroll, Alexander Albon, Yuki Tsunoda, Ferrari, and Red Bull. This is actually my best team right now, but it's by T3. It's the one with the most budget. This is why I started with the Checo, Ferrari, Red Bull build on this team to begin the season. Yeah, so that one's probably doing the best, but yeah, here is my T1 over here. It's not going too hot here, guys. Max Verstappen, Lance Stroll, Danny Rick, Valtteri Bottas, Alexander Albon, Red Bull, and RB. Easy transfers this week are to catch up to the meta, which is currently Red Bull and Ferrari. That leaves me with 20 million. So I can't get to Charles here. Let me know in the comments what your conundrums are. Say hi. Let me know if you can hear me, see me. That would be great. And while you're down there, like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. It is doing quite well right now. So greatly appreciate all that support. So the problem is I do want to. I think Charles is probably the one that is likely to rise the most out of him and Sergio. So I kind of want to get there. So to do that, I'm gonna have to get rid of Danny Rick, despite it being a homecoming for him in Australia. I don't think he is no longer for my team. So Pierre Gasly is likely to come in, leaving me with 21.2 million. And that gives me Charles Leclerc, which is quite. I don't mind this team at all. Double Red Bull or double Ferrari with Bottas, with Albon. I think all these guys are expected to rise this week. Actually, let's just double check my cost cap here because I did just see the F1 Fantasy Tools put out a new simulation. So we're going to go over there real quick. Let me know. Whew. Let me know what your team budget is, and we can just plug this in here as well. So I am at 101.4 or 2, I think. So Reuter, he just updated these on the Discord. So let's see if they are on the website yet. Post FP3, yes, they are, which is great. So here we go. Manage team. Okay, just double checking what my cost cap is. Let me know what yours are in the comments below, and I will run them through. So my cost cap is 101. That's the best thing about this place. F1fantasytools.com must have for any F1 fantasy manager. So recalculate here. What am I supposed to do? Please tell me. So, saying I should go with RBR. So, or Red Bull Racing Visa Cash App RB. Sorry, it is 5:06 here in Germany. So, my brain is catching up a little bit. Let me know where you guys are in the world. And yeah, like and just give me a like, drop me a comment, say hi. Gotta keep myself awake for the next hour and 53 minutes so I can watch qualifying as well. But this is where we're at with my 101 million pound budget on F1 Fantasy Tools. So they've got Red Bull, Ferrari, Perez. Let's see, 101.8. Let's check it out. Let's see what F1 Fantasy Tools says you should do. Thanks for tuning in. What is your team right now, Rahit? Because if this is suggesting something crazy, then maybe you might want to activate that wild card. But here we've got Red Bull, Ferrari, Perez, Stroll, Sonoda, Joe, and Bottas. That is what F1 Fantasy Tools is saying that you should do. I will just put that down here in the comments for you. Stroll, Sonoda, Joe, Bottas. So yeah, that's what you should do with 101.8 million according to f1fantasytools.com. Yeah. So yeah, as you can see, the meta is kind of going towards this build down here. Yeah. Oh, what's up? F1 Fantasy Pitwall. Yes. Yeah, so seems to be what everyone is doing this week. I was talking about it in my video earlier this week. Yeah, so it's time to the max experiment has, I wouldn't say failed, because Max and Red Bull have been getting a bunch of points, but they are just costing too much in your lineup. And it's forcing most of us to kind of go with like RBR or Visa Cash App. Some teams have Aston Martin, but you really have to make sacrifices in the rest of your team. So I think a lot of us are going to the like Checo or Charles and Red Bull Ferrari build. So that's kind of what the rest of the world is. Yeah, exactly. Yes, it's still the goal, just more long term. So yeah, you got to try and build budget here to get up to that magical. The number this week was 104 million, which if we put that in here, we can no longer do. Let's see, Max Osterberg. Opinion on my team: Leclerc, Alonso, Hulk, Bottas, Sargent, Red Bull, Ferrari. So yeah, that's a little tough there. Do you have any budget, Max? Do you have any like wiggle room there? Because obviously you'd have to get rid of Sargent if you want to score any points. And then, yeah, Hulk and Bottas are some of the lower end of the game drivers there. So let's check it out over here. So, yeah, let's see. Go by value. So, yeah, you've got Bottas, Hulkenberg. Yeah, you've got the three cheapest drivers on the grid along with Alonso and Leclerc. So, if you want some exposure to Aston Martin, Max, I would probably drop down from Fernando to Lance, if that's okay. Um, And then that gives you enough budget that should give you enough budget here. Let's see. So Fernando is 16.2, Lance is 11. So yeah, I mean, you can really upgrade Sargent to whoever you want if you think the points gap is worth it there. Yeah, so Fernando to Lance will give you about 5.2 million in wiggle room to go from Sargent to Ocon or Gasly for sure. I really like Gasly this week in the F1 practice debrief, which I can show you guys over here. As you can see, qualifying simulation pace. So this is what the guys over at F1 came out with last night after free practice 1, free practice 2, qualifying simulation pace. Ferrari, Red Bull, Aston Martin, McLaren, Mercedes, Visa Cash App, Haas, Williams, Sauber, and Alpine. But yes, so Phil Allard here leaning towards wildcard to get the Red Bull, Ferrari, Leclerc, Stroll, Albon, Mag, Joe. Yeah, I like that lineup a lot. I am also tempted to use my wild card to kind of get to a lineup like that, but I can get to a similar lineup with my 3 free transfers, and I've kind of been saying this for most of the early season. I'm not super worried about activating my wild card. Last year, the chip was a little worthless with how the prices were. So, yeah, if I use these 3 free transfers this weekend and it's still a pretty crap F1 fantasy lineup, I will probably activate the wild card to get it right again. So not too worried with that. So yeah, go ahead and do it, Phil, if you would like. What else? If Max Sterling was soft, Checo def, Will as I'm torn, but I want to keep my chips. Yeah, it is tough. Keeping chips is probably good. When I had Adam from F1 Fantasy HQ on at the preseason Palooza, the first episode of the preseason, he did say that like the chips, save the chips for the end, be patient, that kind of stuff. I am a little tempted to go with the no negative this week. So what do you guys think about the no negative? Like Australia, like we already seen Albon crash. There's not a lot of runoff here. 3 red flags for the first time in an F1 race ever. Yeah, exactly. This is what I'm talking about right here, Phil. Yeah. Any thoughts on no neg? Yeah, I am tempted. I kind of like woke up this morning at like 3:30 or whatever, and I was like, no neg? Like, because if I'm going with Gasly, I can't help but think about his crash last year here when he took out Ocon. Um, so yeah, it's kind of rough, and I mean, there's no Logan Sargent, so he might not crash out. No crashing into like Nick DeVries or whatever. So that's definitely something to consider. But yeah, no negative feels like if I'm going with double Ferrari, who I think in 2022 Carlos Sainz DNF'd here on the first lap, and then last year Charles Leclerc DNF'd on the first lap or something like that. That sounds kind of right in my head. So maybe Ferrari don't have the best of luck here. But anyway, practice debrief over here on F1.com. So we got Ferrari, Red Bull, Aston Martin, McLaren, Mercedes, Red Bull, or Visa Cash App RB. Still throwing me off that that's RB. Like, can we do something about that in the standings here? Haas, Williams, Sauber, Alpine. Mercedes looked pretty awful yesterday. Anyone going with Mercedes assets? Are they jumping off Mercedes assets? That's something to think about as well. Yeah, back over here. And then the race simulation. So Red Bull obviously kind of storming ahead. Ferrari, McLaren, Aston Martin, Mercedes, RB. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point, Phil. Like there's going to be more cars on the track over the next 24 hours to kind of get more grip. But when I was watching yesterday morning, I woke up and watched Free Practice 2. Like cars were sliding all over the place, and like they were obviously able to like kind of bail out of it and stuff because they weren't going full tilt. But in the race, like it feels like people could easily slide off that like last corner, like the last big left-hander before they come down the straight. There's a lot of cars kind of going off. I remember last year Max nearly binned it last year, like with 5 or 6 laps to go, like nearly cost himself the race going off there. So it does seem like the track is a little tricky. Not a lot of overtake potential because it is quite narrow despite 4 DRS zones. So that's kind of interesting there. But yeah, I feel the no negative feels right this weekend. I know it's not like a wet race or whatever, and it might come back to bite me, but I think if we all converge to the meta and then something goes awry this weekend, I am wondering if that is a slight advantage to have the no negative active and kind of uh a slight leg up on the competition. But let's check out what's going on in the F1 fantasy world over here. So we've got some lineups getting locked in. So Michael here, T1 is on the left, T2 is on the right. So yeah, he's going with Charles, Stroll, Yuki, Albon, Nico, Red Bull, Ferrari. Yeah, Red Bull, Ferrari, all over the place. Yeah, Michael, yeah, he's been active this morning. Mr. F1 Fantasy, a great account to follow on here as well. Yeah, he's kind of talking about his options here. We've got, yeah, Mike's still going there. Lots of lineups getting locked. F1 Fantasy Hub and F1 Fantasy HQ, they had their live stream last night. Haven't been able to actually watch it yet because I was dead asleep. Had to miss my Cougs advancing in the March Madness. Let me know, anyone here, March Madness, how your bracket's doing. Let me know. Mine are doing quite terribly. I've already lost a Final Four team at Auburn. So let me know if you guys have any, if you're doing better than me in March Madness. I should have set up a bracket. That would have been fun. Yeah, so Cougs advance 86-46 over Longwood. So that's good for me. Couldn't wake up for that because I was going to wake up for this. So couldn't do it all, unfortunately. But alas, here we are. So F1 Fantasy Hub, fantastic account, fantasy formula. He does his own YouTube channel. Guy just consistently puts out F1 fantasy content. Very, very good content as well. So he's gone from Visa Cash App RB to Ferrari, Verstappen to Leclerc, and Bottas to Joe. He's finally binning off the deadwood, he says. Yeah, Ferrari looks very strong here. Totally agree. So my team will look very similar to that. I think I am going to go with Leclerc because he has, I think he's going to get pole. Ferrari's look pretty good over one lap here. Red Bull's struggling a little bit. So we'll see. But yeah, I would say Ferrari possibly 2 spots in the top 3 for qualifying. I would say like it would be Leclerc, Verstappen, Sainz as my podium prediction for qualifying. Don't think that will stick for the race. We'll see like Verstappen, Perez, and Leclerc, but that's okay. I think Leclerc is going to rise in budget the most. I think F1 Fantasy Tools agrees with me. I will check that out after we kind of keep scrolling through the hashtag F1 Fantasy. F1 Fantasy HQ has locked in their team as well. Yeah. So, yeah, what are you guys thinking? Checo or Leclerc? Because Perez is a better Sunday scorer, which is where we kind of like make the bread in F1 Fantasy, where we get those points. So that's definitely something to think about. But Leclerc could surprise. He has been pretty strongish at Australia. He has a win here, but the win in 2022 was Max was leading, I believe, and then he had a DNF, like a car failure, with 10-ish laps to go. So is Leclerc that strong? Not to be determined here, but yeah, it does feel like maybe people are. I'm certainly cautious of Sergio Perez because every time I trusted him in the second half last year, he broke my heart and cost me about 20 points every single weekend. So I think people are kind of like on the fence there. They don't want to go all in with Sergio. They're not ready to have their heart broken again, Phil. So that's kind of where I'm at with Leclerc. But if I go with Leclerc, that kind of makes me want to go more towards the no negative chip that I'm thinking about, especially with Gasly, like Alpine's problems. Ugh, man, yeah, it feels like there could be a little bit of carnage in Australia. So we're gonna keep scrolling here. Oh, there we go. Perfect. Yeah. So yeah, we just got some more team locks here. 11fi coming out with their predictions. I have not seen this yet. Oh, F1 Fantasy Pitwall. Who could that be? Yes, to no negative or not to no negative. Yeah. Yep, I agree. Yeah, it does seem like Fred has gotten his influence on this team a little bit. They do seem to be a better unit. The pit stops are faster. Like they had the 13 of the 18 fastest pit stop points in Bahrain. So that's definitely a sign of improvement for Ferrari there. But let's check out these 11fi things. Gonna hide your comment here, Phil. So his top team here is Leclerc, Sonoda, Albon, Magnussen, Hulkenberg, Red Bull, Ferrari with the DRS driver as Leclerc. Here's the budgets on the side here. So he's still touting Verstappen as the driver, but then you go Red Bull, Aston Martin. That's supposed to be kind of how he thinks we should do it here. Down here on the bottom left here, you can see that's the budget. So wherever your budget kind of lines up, that's where you want to be. I'm at 101.1 million. So where are we here? Yeah, Verstappen, Sonoda, Albon, Hulkenberg, Bottas, Red Bull, Aston Martin, Verstappen. Man, yeah. But also this said last time to stick with Verstappen, and it did not go too well. EV here. So yeah, Leclerc, 11fi thinks Leclerc is going to do better this weekend than Perez, and then Ocon, Gasly down there at the bottom, which I don't mind that much. Yeah. So yeah, this is why we are moving towards the bigger constructors for anyone that is wondering. Red Bull, Ferrari up here, like you can see, they are just massively far and away the best team in the field. But let's check out what Ryder says over at F1 Fantasy Tools. Hello, racing is epic. Good morning or good afternoon or good evening, wherever you are in the world. Let me know where you guys are tuning in from as I am downing. Oh, here we go. I'm looking forward to seeing it, Phil. Maybe we will have similar lineups. I think a Leclerc might be good to get a sneaky Stroll. Yeah, I'm trying to keep Stroll in my lineup this week. So I brought him in for Saudi Arabia. Gave me that classic -20 that Lance Stroll likes to do sometimes. But then last year, after he DNF'd, he came back with a 4th place, 6th place in Australia. So yeah, it could be Stroll bounce back season. But yes, let's check out how we are doing here. We're going to recalculate this one more time. Here we go. So we can check out all of the newest points predictions from F1 Fantasy Tools, which is a fantastic resource. So let's do this here. Trying to zoom these in for you guys. Look at that. There we go. All right. So 33.1 for Max, 28 for Perez, 23.9 for Sainz, Leclerc, 22.8. So Leclerc has taken a little bit of a dip in the latest simulations from Ryder. Norris, Piastri, Alonso, Hamilton, Russell, Stroll, Sonoda, Ricardo, Albon, Joe, Gasly, Ocon, Bottas, Hulkenberg, Magnussen, and Sargent. Red Bull, Ferrari, McLaren, Aston Martin, Mercedes. So Aston Martin over Mercedes is an interesting development. If you have Mercedes, I would hightail it off of the Silver Arrows this weekend. They do not look good. They were supposed to bring upgrades this week, but then they decided that they were going to use it as a further test to see what they've got right and got wrong. And it only seems that they keep finding things that are wrong with their 2024 car. So that's not a great thing as we head into the weekend. But yeah, I was talking about this yesterday on X actually, that like if McLaren wasn't so priced out of the Ferrari or the Mercedes range, I think this game would be like really, really fun. I mean, the pricing has made it like a lot better than last year, as a lot of us know. But yeah, if McLaren was just like 2 million more than Ferrari, 1 million more than Ferrari, I would be really tempted to go with them. But almost $4 million gap is just too much to overcome, unfortunately. But I am tempted, but I just can't get there with most of my lineups, unfortunately. But yeah, and also with them being higher than Ferrari, they're less likely to like have a big rise in budget. I think if Ferrari finished 3-4 this week, we could see the biggest rise for a constructor that we've seen so far this season, as Ferrari has risen point 0.3 each week. Maybe we'll get a point 0.5 this week if Sainz and Leclerc finish 3-4 with like a Leclerc pole or something like that. That would be quite nice. So what is everyone? We got a few people watching here. Don't forget to just like the stream, as it helps out the old YouTube algorithm and lets more people know that we're in here at 5:26 in the morning. Like, I am a crazy person. So yeah, that's gonna help out as well. But yes, so I would avoid Mercedes, and then you can see here he's still got VRB. He's got them up at 23.2 points, but they just have not been that good this season. And with Yuki kind of qualifying high and the car seemingly going backward throughout the races, I'm not really about that so far. Also, they've burned me so far in the first 2 races of the season. Race simulation pace. Let's go back to this here. So Red Bull, Ferrari, McLaren, Aston Martin, Mercedes, Red Bull, or Visa Cash App, RB, Haas, Williams, Sauber, Alpine. I don't mind bringing in Gasly for my team, as they can just, yeah, I believe you can still join the league here. So P3DA4NL0X08. I think if you just type that code in, or you search for Backup Fantasy Sports, there's over 1,000 of us in that league. So yeah, just go ahead and join that league. Should be good to go. I don't think I made it like private or anything like that. It just has a league code. So go ahead, hop in there. That would be great for you to join us. And I need to rise up in that league a little bit. So let's go. Yeah, while we're here, let's see where we all are in, where do I even find this here? I'll show you this, guys, so you guys can look at the qualifying. This is the qualifying simulation pace here. Let's see, where are we? Backup Fantasy Sports League. So here we go. Share this tab. All right, so we've got over 1,000 of us in here. Yeah. So right now, Alex Roca is top of the charts, 573 points. Did use his their limitless chip last week for Verstappen, Perez, Sainz. Had Sainz in his lineup. So interesting. Yeah, I guess this is, oh, there we go. That's what happened there. So yes, okay. So here is who was top, or in Saudi Arabia. Oh, let's see. What's up, Hugo? Did a cheeky Merc over for our choice in the hopes there are some crashes up front and I can bank some budget increase in points from a Merc dark horse top 3 finish. Ooh. Are you hoping for chaos? Dang, are you going to activate your no negative chip just in case any of your Mercedes assets get caught up in that madness? I guess you're not thinking that they're going to qualify in the first 2 or 3 rows, because it has been a pretty miserable weekend so far for the Silver Arrows, despite some progress in FP3, if I remember correctly here. Let me see. Yeah, Hamilton P4, Russell P5 in FP3. But yeah, the comments from Hamilton yesterday, he said it was the worst he's ever felt in this car. Like, ooh, it just the vibes are bad over at Mercedes. So go big or go home. Saving a no nag for a sprint weekend. Yeah, yeah, that's not a bad idea at all. So that, because you're gonna have 3 chances to lose points there. So yeah, that's good. That's maybe you're talking me off the ledge here a little bit, Hugo. With me, I was thinking about activating my no negative chip for this weekend, but maybe I will step back from the ledge here and kind of maybe I'll be patient like Adam told me to be in the preview palooza. But here we go. So here's the top 10. So Alex, you've lost. Phineas, Oscar, Tyler, Jose, Hugo. This is you. This is your team right here. Oh, you used your limitless chip. Is that right? Is this what you did last week? You've used your limitless chip. So Verstappen, Perez, Leclerc, Russell, Norris, Red Bull, and Mercedes. Huh, look at that. So you're number 6 in the league. Very nice. Welcome. Glad to have someone in the top 10 on here as you can see, not going too hot for me at the beginning here. 614th in my own league. Hopefully we can crack the top 500 this weekend after Australia. But yeah, lots of good teams in here. So yeah, feel free to join the league with that league code right down there. One more time, we're going to go back to the practice debrief. And here we go. So I have 3 teams. So this is my T3. I've already used my 2 free transfers for this weekend. So this is my T3, Perez, Hulkenberg, Stroll, Albon, Tsunoda, Ferrari, and Red Bull. That's kind of what F1 Fantasy Tools told me to do. Yeah, I mean, that's what I was talking to. Fantasy Pitwall was on here earlier. And yeah, I think everyone seemed to kind of be struggling with like that last part of the track. And that chicane-ish thing at the beginning is always tricky as well. So maybe I have a gut feeling about the no negative. Maybe I should just go for it. That's like why people tune in, I guess. I don't want to be like too like go with the crowd. I know there's going to be wet races, there's sprint weekends, that kind of thing, but I've got a gut feeling that there could be some carnage this week. So no negative getting played. 28 minutes to go until lock. Is that right? 27 minutes until lock. Let me know what you guys are locking in as your teams or what you're thinking as the deadline counts down. So that's my T3 team. My T2 team is over here as well. This is my Aston Martin Ferrari team. As I got here. So let's see here. What do we got? Let's go build this team on F1 Fantasy Tools. See what we've got here. 101.4 million. I really wish they would just show that at the top. That would be nice, right? Instead of you having to delete your whole team every time you want to see what your cost cap is. Like, I can't keep track of that by myself. I'm not that good with numbers. So let's go over here. Let's enter 101.4 and see what Ryder spits out here. Yes, I know. It's like they could just show you what you have. It's like you've used 101.4 of your 101.6 million cost cap. I'm like, oh, okay, I can just do that every single time. But I don't know why they just make it a little bit difficult for us. But that's okay. We're slowly but surely getting there. I'm just hoping that they get the scores up by tomorrow night, Germany time. So the race is at 5 a.m. This time tomorrow, the race will be happening. I'm just hoping by the time I go to bed at 8 o'clock the next night that the scores will be updated so I have something to update for the review show in the next couple of days after that. But yes, definitely would love to see the cost cap there. But yes, also just please get the points up a lot faster. That would be great. So here with my T2 team, Red Bull, Ferrari, Perez, Tsunoda, Ricardo, Albon, Joe would be the best squad with 215 points. But what about building budget? What do we want to do here? So 101.8, 1.81, 1.87 if I go Stroll, but I do not have enough transfers for that F1 Fantasy. So, or F1 Fantasy Tools. So that's going to have to go back here. So yeah, so I could go, let's share this tab. So this is my T2. Let me know what you guys are like. That's kind of my test team, I guess. So I've got Sargent inactive, and I've only got 2 free transfers, so that's a little bit of a problem. Um, so yeah, I might actually just have to. So I got 7.3 if I stick with how that is, and I'd have to kind of. Let's see, Hugo. Sorry, let's see. T1, Leclerc, Stroll, Sonoda, Albon, Joe, Red Bull, Ferrari, playing safe. Yeah, I think um, that's a great team. That's probably where I will end up. I'm thinking maybe I don't have Sonoda. I have Ricardo, so I think I'm going to swap him for. I will have pretty much this team. I will have Leclerc, Stroll, Albon, Red Bull, Ferrari, and I will have Gasly and Bottas instead. So that'll be my team. Hugo's team 2, Perez, Ricardo, Sonoda, Albon, Joe, Red Bull, Mercedes, hoping for chaos. Chaos Demon, Hugo. Team 3, Sainz, Ricardo, Stroll, Albon, Mag, Red Bull, Ferrari, banking on a high Sainz finish and the driver of the day. Yeah, I mean, that's something we need to consider. So driver of the day is totally random, but Carlos Sainz coming back from an appendectomy, and if he finishes at the top 5, why would he not get driver of the day? Yeah, that was in my thoughts as well. Like, kind of, should we be going with Sainz over Leclerc and Perez? He maybe has a chance to go up 0.5. Let's see here. Gary chiming in at 5:37 a.m. Germany time, wondering where Gary is from. Is that a good idea to keep Sargent to avoid negative? I mean, you could do that. But it's a little bit boring, don't you think? Just like not having a player in F1 Fantasy, we get like a few of these, or like, well, I guess we got 24 of these this year, but yeah, do you really just want to? I don't really want to just take a 0. I'll just hope for positivity, Gary. So we will we'll see here. But yeah, double Aston Martin in this T2. I don't know about that. So he does have the lowest cost. His cost isn't going to go down, which is nice. I think 104 million was the magic number to get the Verstappen, Red Bull, Ferrari build, but you had to do that with Logan. So if you're all right to take a 0, you definitely can do that. It's just, yeah, it's a little bit boring, but maybe that's sensible. Sometimes the sensible way is the right way to do. Zwira, Total, Red Bull, Ferrari, Perez, Stroll, Hulkenberg, Joe, Albon. I like that a lot. Hulkenberg has been getting some points. Zhou Guanyu is the king of the overtakes. Honestly, like just F1 Fantasy Goldmine, Zhou Guanyu. So don't mind that at all. Don't forget to like and subscribe, y'all, as you tune in. I see a lot of your alarms have gone off at 30 minutes until qualifying. Yeah, that was nice. Hugo, my thinking science is possible points builder if driver of the day. Leclerc, a better budget builder. Yep, good point, Hugo. Yeah, I think Leclerc does have a higher ceiling in the budget building. But yeah, Sainz points. So I guess it's kind of, what do you want to do at this point of the season? Do you want to build budget or do you want to get points? I'm fine to get my points at the end of the season. I do think budget is going to be a thing that we need to focus on in the early part of the season. So that's kind of why I am rolling with Leclerc. Also, it might be nice to see how Sainz does for one full race. Like, I know practice sessions he's been getting through okay. I think he said yesterday that he wasn't 100% comfortable. So is that going to take its toll? Like almost 2 hours in an F1 car, continuously driving. We'll see if that does affect him over the race. So I might err on the side of caution there. Racing is epic. What do you think of Red Bull Racing, Ferrari, Perez, Stroll, Albon, Joe, and Bottas? Like it a lot. Let's go check out practice debrief here. As you can see, Sauber in the qualifying pace, second, race pace, second. So even if they qualify low, there'll be some DNS. If they can trundle along at the back of the pack, they should be all right. I'm going to, Yes, 20 minutes left. Yes, sound the alarm, Phil. Yes, thank you. Good call. I should probably start focusing on my team a little bit, but yeah, so race simulation pace, Sauber trundling along at the back there, Alpine as well. Don't really mind it. I mean, if they're at the back of the pack, off the back, then they'll avoid crashes? Question mark, because they're so far away from the midfield. So I think I am going with. I think I'll have a Sauber and an Alpine and a Williams asset this week. So I will have the three lowest scoring or lowest predicted teams in simulation pace and qualifying pace. So, but let's hop on over back to this T2. Got 2 free transfers here. Do I just maybe I just go with I'll go with Zhou Guanyu in this team. See how this goes. This is kind of just a test team. T2, Verstappen, Ferrari, Aston Martin, Alonso, Sonoda, Zhou Guanyu, Valtteri Bottas. Let's see how you guys do this weekend. Yuki and Dupree. Hugo asking a technical question. Oh, remove Bottas, says Wari. Hugo, sorry it's not F1 related, but what application do you use for stream? OBS. This is actually StreamYard. So StreamYard hooks up to YouTube quite easily. It's not as like technically proficient as like OBS and stuff, because you can do a lot more stuff with OBS. I'm just not that technologically savvy yet. But yes, I'm finally getting a hang of StreamYard. So this is kind of what I've been doing all my videos on it. It's quite nice, quite user friendly. So I would highly recommend using StreamYard if you're looking to create F1 fantasy content, and let me know, because I will tune in, because I am all about getting that in there. So this is T3 is done. T2 is done. Now it's time for T1. Kevin, you're reading my mind. No negative chip this weekend. Yes, that I've been saying it the whole stream. I think I'm going to do it. I think I'm going to get this no negative chip out of here, because I think I woke up this morning at 3:30 and I was like, no negative. Is that something that I should use? And yeah, Australia does give us safety cars, virtual safety cars. The only thing is that Logan Sargent isn't in the race this weekend, so maybe a safety car chance goes down. Sorry, Logan. I know you've already taken a couple of beatings this weekend, but yeah, no negative is in my thoughts. I think I'm gonna do it. I think we're gonna do it. Yep. I think that's how I'm feeling with 17 minutes to go. So, but here is my T1 squad that is doing so poorly right now. So please help me. Let me know if you are in a similar spot, because I believe that Max Verstappen and Red Bull would pull me through, but it's not meant to be. You cost too much money. Sorry, Max. It's time to go. So I think, as you can see here, so the problem is I do want to keep some Aston Martin. Otherwise, I would just get rid of Lance Stroll and I could get Checo pretty easily. But yeah, I think let's see. What do we got here, Kevin? My team: Leclerc, Ricardo, Albon, Hulkenberg, Bottas, Ferrari, Red Bull, with no negative activated. I think we're going to be right there with you, Kevin. I think we can be no negative buddies together. So yeah, just pop a like, pop a subscribe, and then you can just hopefully revel in our victory with me in the review episode that should be out Monday or Tuesday, just depending on how fast the game updates. So yeah, on Monday or Tuesday, I will have a review episode out with some early Japan thoughts, as we have another 2-week break between there. But yeah, I think Red Bull are supposed to bring upgrades to Japan. I think that's supposed to be the zero pod race for them. So that's going to be definitely something to watch. There should be a lot of build up to that for Suzuka, which is going to be earlier in the season than it has been for the last couple of years. So that's also something to consider as well. Hugo says, that's quite a cheap team, Kev. Must have some cash left in the bank. I don't know, Kev. Or I don't know, Hugo, because I've got I'm struggling here, but yes, I guess with Albon, Hulkenberg, Bottas, yeah, he should have some money left in the bank, but maybe he's saving it for a rainy day, Hugo. Who knows? But yes, so Verstappen and Ferrari are gone. So as you can see here, if I shove Ferrari in, I've got 20 million. That leaves me short by point 0.4. So Danny Rick, it is time to go. It's been real. It's been fun, but it's not been real fun. That's for sure. So if I pop Charles in there, as you can see, that gives me 8.3 million left in the bank, which kind of gives me my pick of the back markers, just not Esteban Ocon. Could go Yuki, Pierre, K-Mag, Joe Guan Yu, Valtteri Bottas. Yeah, so Kev has 3.3 in the bank. So can you go? Let's see. You've got enough money to go up to Lance Stroll there, Kevin, but maybe you don't have the transfers. Is that right? So you could go from Ricardo up to Stroll if you wanted, but maybe you don't have the free transfers available. Not sure. Just something to think about. Uh, so I jumped on the V Carbon, which hit the budget and points hard. So yeah, Kevin says, yep. So yeah, the only other thing that I could think of is if I put the team back together here, Max with V Carb, who slowly but surely were killing us all. I guess we all believed that they were maybe going to be this year's Aston Martin. Yeah, I know. I was going to go with coffee, but it just felt right to go with a Red Bull for an F1 qualifying race, despite wearing a McLaren polo. So Zach Brown going to be leading McLaren until 2030. I saw yesterday, underneath all of the madness of the Williams drama. So he will be on Drive to Survive talking about how unfair Red Bull's advantage is for the next 6 years at least, assuming that Drive to Survive will be around that long, but we'll see. Yes, so putting Ricardo back in there. So this is how my team was looking. So I could also take out Stroll, and that would leave me with Ricardo, Bottas, and Albon, and that is how I could get to this with Checo, and that would leave me with Esteban Ocon at, where'd you go, Esteban? 8.8. Only leaves me 0.1 in the bank. And that's kind of the other option there. But I don't know. Sergio broke my heart so many times last year. I don't think I can go there. I don't think I can trust him yet. I just need to. I don't know. Does anyone else have trust issues with Sergio Perez? Am I the only one that's still scarred by last year's like up and down second half where I think I brought him in for Mexico, I transferred him out for Coda, and then I brought him out or I transferred him out for Vegas. Like, oh, me and Sergio had a love-hate relationship. So yes, thank you. Racing is epic. You also have trust issues like I do. I just can't get there. I feel like every time we trust Sergio, he lets us down. So maybe I'm just living in fear, and it's like just if I'm using the no negative this week though, do I just YOLO it? But yeah, I don't know. It's tough to say, but I do think I don't really like this build as much as the other one. Phil's saying he is his fantasy F1 villain. Yeah, I kind of feel that way too, to be honest. Yeah, first time I got him last year, DNF. Exactly, racing is epic. Yes. So I don't like this build as much. I believe that the data says that I should like that build as much. As you can see here, F1 Fantasy Tools. Oh yeah, Kevin, I agree with you, but Sergio really needs to perform this year. Yeah, we got a little bit of a I'm not sure how familiar everyone is with like American sports, but there's always this like contract year thing that goes on in American sports where yeah, it's like, oh, all of a sudden this person that's always hurt just like plays through a bunch of stuff. So we'll see if Sergio is just like really dialed in. And he does perform well at the beginning of the season. But yeah, exactly. Burns me if I have him, burns me if I don't have him. Yeah. Just Sergio. Yeah. But it's so nervous, so nerve-wracking seeing him on the screen. I just like, despite him kind of being in the midfield for a few years there with Racing Point and stuff like that, it's still nerve-wracking to see him. But last year he started 20th here and finished 5th, so he can navigate Albert Park quite nicely. But yes, here we go. So this is what F1 Fantasy Tools is saying I should do. But what does my lineup predict? If I shove in my lineup here that I was thinking, so where did we go here? So that was going to be, so I'd have Stroll. Oh, that looks weird. I don't like that at all. So Charles, Stroll, and where are you, Pierre? There you are. So if I shove those guys in, so we can see here. So Leclerc, Stroll, Gasly, Bottas, and Albon with Red Bull and Ferrari. So this is what F1 Fantasy Tools wants me to do with 101.1 million. Phil, the good guy, as always, 10 minutes to go. Yes, it is 10 minutes, guys. You should definitely start getting your lineups locked in. So here we go. So this is what F1 Fantasy Tools wants me to do. Red Bull, Ferrari, Perez, Sonoda, Ricardo, Albon, Joe. 215.1 points. If I shove in my team, we'll see how it goes here. Recalculate. 203 points. Oh, they don't like my team at all. Oh, why do I do this to myself? Now I'm just full of self-doubt. But yes. So 1.91 budget building. Let's reset the filters. 101.2 is what I was at. So it'd be a pretty good budget building team. That's what so my team would be a better budget building team, and it would cost me like 12 points. I did just say budget is one of the places that we like, one of the better things that we need to do here. 10 minutes. This has just flown by. Thank you for being with me at 5 a.m. in the morning, which is kind of crazy. I don't know what time it is with the rest of y'all, but hopefully. Oh, let's go, Vigard. Yes, Leclerc. Also, just isn't it just easier to cheer for Charles Leclerc over Sergio? Like everyone kind of wants for like, I think Spanners on the Missed F1 podcast or Missed Apex F1 podcast says, even if you're not a Ferrari fan, you're a little bit of a Ferrari fan. Like everyone kind of loves Ferrari, and we all kind of hate Red Bull a little bit, unless you're a Max fan. But props to you because he is just crushing it. I can't believe I'm going without Max Verstappen into like. I'm not going with Max Verstappen into an F1 fantasy race. This feels so wrong. My head is telling me Checo. My heart is telling me Charles. So this is how I make all my fantasy decisions most of the time. Racing is epic. Is if I go to sleep tonight and Sergio did not qualify or goes out in Q1 or crashes, I'm going to be just putting the pillow over my head, crying in my pillow, being like, I should have trusted my gut. Should have trusted my gut. If Charles goes out, I'll be like, at least I trusted my gut. Maybe it was stupid, but I can still go to sleep later that night. So that's how I make most of my things there. Dusan Vasic, the model Heliferis Perez Farage show up the first page of recommended rosters. I know. It's kind of crazy, right? But like, it's not that different here if you look, Dusan. So look, 28 points. Like, this could all flip with a driver of the day. Like, it's all good. But we're getting down to it. We got 5 minutes to go. Yes. Ah, Phil, I thought you were going to sleep. Are you watching? I guess you're staying up at this point, watching qualifying. So, um, but yes, here we are. 3 transfers. Overall rank can't get much worse than that, right? Like we can only go up from here. So, Charles, Lance, Pierre, Valtteri, Alex, 0.8 in the bank. Bit of drama. Merck seems to be doing some relatively major work on the cars pre-qualifying. When Mercedes, ooh, never miss a session unless I'm at work. That's dedication. Love that, Phil. But yes, Hugo, bit of drama. Mercedes seems to be working on the car a little bit here. Well, usually when Mercedes does work on the car, or at least over the last 2 and a bit seasons, it seems to be going worse. So we'll see. But something to keep an eye on in case they Vigard says betting odds seem to favor Leclerc 4-1 ahead of Perez. 24-1. Do you think that's because team orders, like Red Bull just wouldn't let Perez win? They'd be like, no, Max needs to build a 50-point lead in the championship before we start letting Checo win races. Maybe that's what it would be. Do you think that takes into account in the betting odds there, Vigard? I don't know. Yeah. This is the team. With Charles Leclerc as my 2 times driver. Confirming that. And we're going no negative, people. I've been talking it up the last hour. It's happening. After replying, yeah, this is kind of nerve-wracking. It's like when you try to delete your Facebook account. It's like, are you sure? You won't be able to talk to your high school friends anymore that you don't talk to any longer. Are you sure you want to delete that? Your aunts won't be able to see where you are in the world if you delete your Facebook account. It's okay. It's okay. So yeah. Whew. No negative, Chip. It's applied. No negative. Activate. Max to Charles. Daniel to Gasly. Red Bull or Visa Cash App RB to Ferrari. Confirmed. It's done, people. That is the lineup. It is locked in. Have I made a huge mistake? I guess we're about to find out in about 3 minutes. So yeah, let's get this locked and loaded here. Yeah, I know, Desan. Still thinking of leaving the chips for sprint races. That's very, very viable. So it's fine. But sometimes with the sprint races, yeah, we'll see. I think the chips are a little like over exaggerated, kind of like FPL or Fantasy Premier League. But Racing is epic. Locked in Paris. All right. I guess I'll see you on Monday's show or whatever and see what goes on there. Good luck, everyone. Yep, good luck. Good luck. Yeah, hopefully everyone gets a nap in after qualifying. So you have a good Saturday or Sunday or whatever, wherever you are in the world. I am off on a 3-hour drive to Austria after qualifying, so that'll be fun. But yeah. Yes, hope Perez does well in 3rd or 4th. Yeah, because then Charles can finish 2nd, right, Vigard? Yeah. But yeah, I appreciate everyone tuning in this this early in the morning. Huge rank jump if Perez driver of the day. Yep, that's true. Yep, good point. But that's it. It's all done. Charles Leclerc, Lance Stroll, Pierre Gasly, Valtteri Bottas, Alexander Albon, Red Bull, Ferrari with the no negative activated. Good luck, Phil. Good luck, Racing is Epic. Good luck, Desan, Vigard. Yes. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. It's been pretty quick hour. Yeah, and now I'm just ready to watch some lights out and away we go in qualifying. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the stream. Hopefully I provided something. I was probably rambling a bunch at 5 a.m. trying to wake myself up for this. But yes, it's all locked. We are good to go. It is all done. Have a great weekend. I will be back next week, probably Monday, hopefully Tuesday at the latest, with a Australia review show with some early Japan thoughts. And yeah, good luck. Oh my goodness, Hugo, what are you doing? Wild prediction: Max and Leclerc qualify 1-2, then crash first lap. Sainz, Perez, Hamilton podium. Embrace the chaos. Hugo, you are a chaos demon, but that's okay. I appreciate it. Yeah, good luck to you also, Ransom. But that's it. It's 6 o'clock. Lineups are locked. Look at that. It's qualifying time. So good luck, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great weekend, and I will talk to you next week.